Put the gloves on here so we can get a better feel. So in boxing, obviously, one of the biggest factors are these big cushions that we have on our hands. If you compare boxing to MMA, you've got small gloves. Boxing, you're very able to kind of keep your gloves up and kind of stay down here. There's not a lot of openings. As you can see, the gloves cover most of the gaps with very small movements. So there's a big difference between boxing and MMA, obviously. Now, one of the things I like to point out to guys is people over-defend the head. So even with these big gloves on, the minute you start throwing punches at the head, people tend to do this. The minute I start doing this, look how open my body is, okay? So number one thing that you've got to realize is the thing that you need to protect the most are your temples. So if you look now, I can lean forward, boop. This compared to this is a big difference. I can still see, if you look what I'm doing here, I'm looking through that little gap. I can move, there's my defense, boom, boom. If I want to defend my body, small movements. People start going overly high on the defense, they do this. Now all of a sudden, I see a body shot coming and what do? And look what happens, my head opens up. So rule number one when it comes to hand positioning, we want what I call a 50-50 hand position, halfway between my head and halfway between my body, which is basically, this is where I want to box from, just under your cheekbones, not from here. If I'm standing, if I'm moving forward like this, my body's wide open. Yeah, you can use that to bait people to go for the body 100%. But I'm talking about practicality and general logic when it comes to fighting. So I want to keep my hands here. So somebody throws a shot at my head, boom, small movement, boom, small movement. They hook to the body, boom, small movement, boom, small movement. The smaller the movements, the smaller the openings. That's simple. If I start going, all of a sudden, look at my body, look at my head. Even if I'm going, there, ooh, look how big my body's open. Oh, big movements, ooh, big body opening. Look how big my head is here. So we've got to learn to refine our movements, especially with the big gloves. You've got to learn to stay nice and tight, small little movements. Boop. Allow for small targets. If I'm leaning away, we all know Mayweather style. Boom, there. Small movements, there, boom, up, boop, move forward, elbows down. Just enough so I can still see you. Boop, boom. Very important. One of the things I realize with a lot of guys is when it comes to the parry, a lot of guys want to stand from here and try and parry. Now, what you've got to realize in this sport is the guys that know how to throw punches really, really quick. So if I'm going to parry and I still want to parry from here, by the time they've jabbed and I've lifted my hand to parry, I've already eaten the shot. So one of the first tips I try and explain to guys is if you want to parry, and you're normally going to parry when you're getting a read on someone, you want to kind of be quick to the point and you don't want any more movements than you need to. So I always say when you know you're going to be parrying, get that right hand up so that the movement is basically just up, there, up, there. That's it. So as I'm standing around like this, I can bait him. Look, this hand's down, this hand's up. If I keep both hands up, he's not going to throw as many jabs. But if I want to bait him, this hand's down, this is where I want. So he throws, and there's my parry. Boom! Keep that hand up, gives you a little bit more time. Remember in this sport, we're working in nanoseconds. Nanoseconds. We don't have time. Every movement I make, every step I take is one step too many, one movement too many. So we want to break it down to minimize any movement. So that hand stays up, parry, boom. Small movement, deflection, boom, bah. There, small movement, bam, 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 bam. Okay, very important. So hand positioning, remember, normal, if I'm going to parry there, small movement to defend the body. Boom, 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 defend the head. The smaller the movement, the smaller the opening. Bigger the movement, bigger the opening. Very important, remember this. This is going to stop you from getting hit a lot. And work on it. Stand in the mirror and watch yourself. Practice in the mirror, work your hand positioning, create muscle memory. Boom, boom, boom. Very important. Use it.